Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz. This is Ron's Bank Shop Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. And if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my college basketball Bank Shop best bet, you can find us at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Tuesday in college hoops. First up, it's a first-round game between Oklahoma State and UCF in the Big 12 Conference Tournament. This one's going to be 12:30 Eastern on ESPN+. And it's 12:30 p.m. as one of the great things about conference tournament basketball. Even during the weekdays, you get all-day hoops. The first game's going to be 11:30 in the morning Eastern time with Fordham and Davidson. And then it's going to run all the way through to 11 p.m. Eastern for the Big Sky Conference Tournament. In this matchup, UCF, their first season in the Big 12, so this is going to be their first conference tournament game in the Big 12. I would say them and also, BYU, Cincinnati held their own in their first season. We know Houston did more than that in their first season in the Big 12. But, 7-11 conference record, not too shabby and the toughest conference in college basketball. However, on the road or at a neutral site here, I can't really lay points with UCF because I just don't trust their offense enough. Oklahoma State's offense is no juggernaut, that's for sure. But, UCF's ranked 285th in effective field goal percentage, 282nd in turnover percentage, 308 in three-point shooting. The defense was very, very strong. It was ranked 12th in adjusted defensive efficiency. But it's a team that, in a neutral site, I really worry about this offense. Oklahoma State, I think, was really underrated in the regular season defensively. We saw them play a lot more competitive, I'd say, in the second half of conference play where we saw them beat BYU. They beat Cincinnati. They forced overtime against their rivals in Oklahoma. So, I think they played in a lot of close games. They had a couple wins, and I think we see another close game here at the neutral site. I think, Oklahoma State, the more experienced team, obviously has experience playing this conference tournament. I think it gives them the edge. I wouldn't be surprised to see them win the game outright. I'm gonna take the points just in case with Oklahoma State. Next up, we see St. Louis and Rhode Island in the first round of the A-10 Conference Tournament. This one, 4:30 Eastern, is going to be on ESPN+. Pretty interesting matchup here between two programs and two head coaches that expect a lot more from their teams than what they got in the regular season as far as a win-loss perspective. As Travis Ford and Archie Miller, two great coaches, and these are two solid programs, but bit of a down year. St. Louis was 12-19 overall, and so was Rhode Island, and these teams were about even in the conference standings. St. Louis 5-13, Rhode Island 6-12. But in this matchup, to me, the key difference or the key factor I'm looking at is I trust if it's a close game, which we can expect. We saw a very close game in the last one between these two back on March 2nd, so not too long ago, a 94-91 final score in favor of the Billikens. If it's a close game late, St. Louis, I trust a lot more to make the tough shot or the key shot. This is a team that's ranked 39th in the country in free throw shooting, 40th in three-point shooting. Rhode Island ranked 349th in free throw shooting. They do a good job at getting to the line, but they're a miserable 64.7% from the charity stripe. St. Louis shooting more than 10% better this season. If it's a close game late and these teams are forced to foul each other, I trust St. Louis a lot more than the more experienced team. And to me, they just beat Rhode Island 94-91. It was a game where both teams had a solid day from the perimeter, but making 11 threes each. But the difference maker was 81% from the free throw from St. Louis, 68.8% from Rhode Island, and St. Louis won that game by 3. Give me St. Louis in this one at the neutral site. Next up, we see Miami and Boston College in the first round of the ACC tournament. This one's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern on ACC Network. It's crazy to think that Miami's playing in this first round of this tournament. This was a team that has made a few big runs in the NCAA tournament the last couple of years. They had a lot of expectations this season. They lost some production, but brought back quite a bit, and they were a very experienced team going into the season, top 100 in D1 experience. And they were at one point 15-7 overall, 6-5 in conference play. Wasn't an amazing record. They had some tough losses like the game at Louisville, but they were fine. But then they lose the last 9 games of the regular season, including 2 of them to Boston College. And here they are, playing in this first round game. It's tough to give up on Miami, though. With they made it to the Final Four last year. They made a deep run the year before in the NCAA tournament. They played well in these neutral site games. We saw them win 2 neutral site games in non-conference play against decent teams in Georgia and Kansas State. They're still a very good three-point shooting team, a dangerous shooting team, honestly. The defense has its problems. We know that, but it's a healthier team than it was, a little bit ago. And I do think the experience playing in these tournament-style games does really help a team. Boston College has had a really solid season. We've seen this program really struggle the last couple of years. To see them finish with an above 500 record and just below 500 in conference play, it's certainly a program on the rise, but I can't get there with them. I just think Miami with the head coach, Jim Larrañaga, such a tournament-style coach, and his team is, a tournament-style team. I got to go with Miami in this spot. We're getting a really good price because of their season struggles, because of this big losing streak. Give me the Canes in this one. Next up, we see Manhattan and Iona. This one's going to be 7:30 Eastern. It's going to be on ESPN Plus. So far we've talked about a few teams and programs that have been, pretty disappointing this season. Miami certainly one of them. St. Louis, Rhode Island, teams that we expect to, have a bye in the first round of these conference tournaments, or be the heavy favorite to win the tournament in the end. And Iona is one of those teams because this is a team that expects to be in the big dance or at least the conference tournament final year after year. They've been a very strong program in this pretty weak conference in the last decade plus. Rick Pitino leaves the team, but you bring in Tobin Anderson, who just pulled off one of the biggest upsets in college basketball history with the 16-1 upset of Fairleigh Dickinson over Purdue. But this team, had a disappointing regular season, 15-16 overall, 10-10 in conference play. Not what the Gales expect, but they still have their chance to get it done here in the conference tournament. I like their chances, at least in this first game. I like them to win by a pretty good margin. Manhattan, I think, one of the weakest teams in this conference and in Division I college basketball in general. I really worry about the fact that they turn the ball over a ton. Iona really does a great job of forcing turnovers. I expect a really mismatched game here. I'm going to go with Iona in a blowout. Next up, we see Sienna and Niagara. This one, 9:45 Eastern on ESPN Plus. The final game we're going to talk about for the Tuesday card. Now, Sienna has been a really tough team to read this season because of all the changes that the roster has had, from the beginning of the year, all the uncertainties and injuries. And, this is a team that struggled quite a bit early on in non-conference play into conference play. But then they got some key players back in the lineup, and they were actually a lot more competitive. We saw them beat Niagara outright back on January 15th in a lot of close games in the mix. A 2-point loss at Marist. They played a 4-point loss at Canisius. But now, to end the regular season, they lost 7 straight games. Not many of those were competitive, and the injuries are piling up again. I mean, when you look at the top 6 scorers from Sienna this season, 3 of those, half of those, are out or have been out for quite a while. Niagara, while they didn't finish the regular season strong, I still think they're the much better team fundamentally and shot quality-wise. And even at the neutral site, I think we see enough from Niagara to win this game and cover the number. I'm going to go with another blowout here with Niagara over Sienna. And that's it. Those are the games for Tuesday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium, and there's a link in the description. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.